the pyramids. We rise again. Human tale begins. Aaron chasing ghosts through the jungle rain. Megalithic mystery running through his veins. Me and my multiverse, mic in my head, calling down the legends across the land. From the Nile to Machu Picchu, ankles golden flame. Yucatan calls on now. We are the bad crew, breaking ancient news. Different blood, different years, same truth. Brothers forged in fire, bonded by the stone. Wherever the lost seas call, we're never
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is hard not to be hyped up right now.
Let's go.
Epic introductory music. That's only the second time we've had it on the show, but I'm fired up.
Sweet.
That song has 2 more verses, by the way. That goes 5.5 minutes. Let's go.
We'll have to do that for a special VIP Breaking Agent News later down the road. But welcome, everybody. Today is Sunday, April 26th, and we've got a lot to talk about today. We are, of course, joined by the wonderful and lovely Cassie over at Secrets of Stone. Cassie, great to have you today. Thanks for joining us here on Breaking Agent News. How's everything going with you in the world?
It's going great. I'm excited to be here.
Aaron,
I've watched you guys for a long time, and yeah, it's the first time I've actually gotten to talk to all 3 of you at once. So I think this is going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got some great topics and some new videos from you that we're going to discuss here on the show. Of course, I'm also joined by my 2 fantastic co-hosts. We've got Cody over at Easton Outpost. Cody, what's good over there at the Outpost?
Hey, glad to be here with you all. Cassie, thank you for joining us today. We're glad to have you. And yeah, ready to break the news this week, gentlemen. We got some good ones.
Absolutely. And of course, we are joined by Dave over at Dave's Multiverse, formerly Mike and Dave's Multiverse, but I got it right this time, Dave. Dave, good to see you. Good to have you here. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I'm excited Cassie's here. I saw the Michael Jackson movie today. It got me all emotional for some reason. So I apologize if I'm a little emotional today. But hey, go see Michael in Dolby at AMC Theaters. Excellent film. Excellent film.
Awesome. We're super excited for that, and super excited for the see Michael as well. I've got that on my list today. Listen, of pop culture. We're not here to talk about that. I've got a list of topics here that we discovered that are all about the ancient world. Let me just buzz through them real quick, guys.
Aaron, your mic is killing me. You
is it doing that thing again?
Just point it towards your dome.
It's doing
Listen,
the thing.
Is this a little bit better?
Yeah, it's doing the thing.
That's better. That's better.
This is, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it is.
All right, here we go. This is a little bit better.
Voice we're looking for.
We've got a fantastic list of topics that we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering the Teotihuacan shooting, the first time that human sacrifice has been done at that site in a long time. And on that morbid note, David Wilcox has had a tragic passing. We're going to preview the upcoming quest for ancient civilizations that is taking place in less than 1 week. Cassie's going to show us about a buried pyramid in Thailand. He's going to talk a little bit about Hugh Thomas's ancient wood health. And then Dave got a special little autographed gift from Dr. Greg Little. We're going to be going over to
Aaron, dog, you're Mike.
All right. Listen,
It's better now. It seems to be better when I say something.
as soon as you say something, it starts getting better.
I know, Dave. You got the Midas study.
Listen,
Look, one of these days we're gonna be a person. I swear, we grow up, we're gonna nail it.
I'm gonna get this internet fixed. Give me 10 seconds or
Your
like
internet looks good. I don't think it's the internet.
And you tell them the topics, and you just dive. Why don't you dive in with your first topic, Dave? We're gonna go to you, and I'm gonna reset my router here and get this all fixed.
All right, let's do it. That sounds good.
So you're on David Wilcox.
Actually, you sound good right now. I don't think it's your internet, bro, but I'll still do David Wilcock. All right, so we've got some tragic news. I've heard. I think everyone's already heard. Paranormal researcher and media personality David Wilcock is dead at age 53. Authorities confirm he died by suicide earlier this week in Colorado. I want to give the key facts, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and a lot of speculation,
A lot of misinformation.
Yeah. So let's just give the information. First, I'd like to say, I'm an Ancient Aliens guy. Okay, like I don't believe everything they say on there, but I really enjoy the film they show, the sites they show. And I do think it brings attention to ancient sites to people who normally wouldn't be interested in them. And I think that's valuable. And David Wilcock was a big contributor to Ancient Aliens. I've seen him on there literally 1 million times. So here's the key facts. David Wilcock, 53, died on April 20th, 2026, outside his home near Nederland in Boulder County, Colorado. The cause of death, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office and coroner ruled it a suicide by self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's rough, guys. Deputies responded to a 911 call. Wilcock himself placed and arrived within minutes. The family statement here, the Wilcox family confirmed he had been struggling with severe depression and overwhelming financial debt for a long time. They released a joint statement with authorities asking for privacy. So please give this family some privacy, and expressing hope that his death arises awareness about mental health, which is something that is near and dear to my heart personally. David Wilcock was a well-known YouTuber, author, and paranormal investigator, best recognized for his appearances on History Channel's Ancient Aliens and his extensive work on UFO disclosure, spirituality, conspiracy topics, and ancient history. The Boulder County coroner positively identified Wilcock on April 22nd. No other individuals were involved, and the case is closed as a unaliving. So I just want to say from the Breaking Ancient News team that our thoughts are with Wilcock's family and fans during this difficult time. If you know someone who is struggling with suicide, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24/7 at 988. This was a shocker for me, guys. And I've got a little clip to show that he posted the day before that I'm going to share now, and then I guess we'll just all react to this tragic news. There's not a lot more to say, but we'll check it out. All right.
Bit scary, but you guys knew.
And
Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that, because frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this every.
That's tough to watch, guys. And you know, like I said, mental health is near and dear to my heart. David Wilcock was dealing with some stuff, and everyone wants to attribute this to the 11 scientists that have disappeared related to UFOs and disclosure. I know this is an ancient history show, but David Wilcock was involved in the Lost Ancient Civilization community. Yeah. And I know some friends personally who work in this community who are a bit paranoid right now with all this stuff going down. So I just wanted to throw it out to you guys. Cody first. What was your reaction to this?
I found the timing very suspect, and more details as far as like the police report and him having called in an action that instigated the call to police. But I don't know. It's still, in the end, it's a very odd time for it to all go down. For I mentioned 2 days before his parent unaliving, so it's very tragic. It's unfortunate. Like you, I've watched him for years on Ancient Aliens. So, when somebody that you feel you've gotten to know in some way behind the scenes, and you would never know, like so many other people over the years that have ended their life over, nobody knew were going on behind the scenes. It's unfortunate. So hopefully, yeah, anybody watching this, if you're going through anything, do reach out. There's resources. Talk to a friend, a family member, anybody to help. Because yeah, that is, you never know what somebody's going on behind closed doors. So family, can get through this difficult time, and my thoughts and prayers are certainly with.
Yeah, same here. Cassie, had you heard about this, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I had heard about it. I think my reaction is just it was interesting to see the kind of outpouring from the broader community about this news. It felt like it hit people a lot harder than maybe some of the other things that you hear on a day-to-day basis. If people aren't familiar with him or his work, Praveen actually just put out a video on this topic specifically, which is a little bit out of character for him.
Yes.
Where he's just talking about this case, and it's gotten a really positive response. I think he has over 600,000 views on that video. So it's a nice, succinct coverage of the topic if you're not familiar.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely a friend of mine sent that out to me. And I watched it the day of, and yeah, it was out of character for Praveen, because Praveen, is pretty private, and he posts, mostly just videos about the sites he visits. And, I think this hit everybody in a weird way at a weird time. So yeah, thank you for your comment. Aaron, I know you're not an Ancient Aliens guy, but had you heard about this? And what do you think?
Yeah. Hey, how's am I coming in now? I switched internet. I switched a different router. Is it coming in better?
You sound better. Yeah.
Wonderful. Happy to hear it. Yeah, I'm not an Ancient Aliens guy. I do love Ancient Aliens, the show. Yeah, I try not to veer too far into that realm because it's just too fantastic. I get too excited about it. I've got a Star Wars tattoo. Like I get too excited about it. So I try to be a little bit more grounded, get it, pun intended, in the ancient history stuff. But something that it's interesting timing too, because I've had a lot of friends that have struggled with depression. I've had some friends that have killed themselves, and let me just say, I'm first of all very grateful right now for the administration, though I haven't been grateful for a lot of things the administration's been doing, but this ibogaine treatment that they're looking into and getting switched around. I'm sure you in your field, Dave, that's like incredible. I talked to a bunch of jujitsu buddies of mine, and one guy that I've talked to, he said every single one of his friends, he's former special forces. I said every single one of my friends has gone down to that clinic that's right across the border in Tijuana. to deal with their PTSD and their depression and the issues that they're having. So I think it's a tragic occurrence, but we can always use this to shine light on the available treatment options and to just get the word out of, hey, if you're feeling like there's no options, you're wrong. There are options, there are help, there's treatment, and there's people that are looking out for you. So just, let's move forward in the right direction and do the best that we can with the life that we've got, because we all know that at least we've got this one to live. So
yeah, I want to shout out lone viewer shout out Andrew Santino. Where are you watching from, brother? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, in my field, I work in veteran mental health, and that was big news. What was weird about that was that actually happened at a UFC Miami about 3 weeks ago. Joe Rogan whispered in Trump's ear, because Trump goes to all the Miami events, and said something about this. And then this was when Trump walked out to the event. He usually he watches the prelims in the back, and then he walks out for the main card, and they do like a big old Trump walkout or whatever. And this, guys, it's not about Trump, okay? So please don't blow me up about Trump right now. But Joe whispered in his ear, we got to talk about this. And then Trump said, let's do it. And then they texted later the next day, sorry. And then that week, Rogan was in the Oval Office and Trump was signing an executive order. And I don't know the details of the executive order, but to make these substances more available to veterans and everyone in general. And I just interviewed yesterday a guy named Sam Belayev, who is the number one. He's a CEO and owner of the #1 ayahuasca retreat in South America, and he specifically runs his retreat about an hour out of Medellin, Colombia, which is a beautiful city. And I'm going to be dropping an episode about that in 2 weeks, I think. But I don't want to go on a tangent here, but there are ways to deal with mental health through, lifestyle choices, psychedelic therapy done safely and appropriately and in the right environment with the right people. I think that culturally we're moving in the right direction here. So to close the segment here about David Wilcock, our thoughts and prayers are with your family or his family. And, we got to do something about this epidemic. So hopefully psychedelics can help with that.
Hopefully. We're going to keep it morbid here. Thanks for bringing up that topic. We're going to keep it on, a little bit a heavier topic. I shouldn't say keep it morbid. We're going to keep it on a heavier topic here so we can end the show on all the happy topics, of course.
Please.
But moving on to the next thing, it was supposed to be the first thing, but ended up being the next thing is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a tragedy that happened over in Mexico City at Teotihuacan. There was a person that obviously has mental health issues as well that decided to open fire on some tourists that ended up killing one Canadian woman. But let me share the screen here. It's kind of a crazy story, and it's crazy for me because I was there like a month ago, and I'm going to show you guys my pictures of that place and of the.
You were just there. Freaked me out.
He was literally in the exact spot. So.
Crazy selfie where this took place. So, tragic event. Our heart goes out to everybody involved. But this just like what Dave was saying. Like, reach out to people. The mental health epidemic is a very serious thing, and testing in a lot of different ways. And nobody wants this kind of stuff. We all want peace and happiness. So let's just focus on creating peace and happiness. But this is a news show, so let's, cover it as well. We want to make sure that we show you guys the footage here and, see some of this crazy stuff. Because as you can see, here, this is up on top, right before the
Is this the last thing that's part of the tour? No, we walk. No, I mean here at the pyramids. Yeah, I think so. Sí, ¿verdad? Es lo último bonito. Ya de aquí nos vamos
This is crazy. out his firearm.
Come on, get down, get down.
Oh. Starts, there, you don't see anything bad in this video. He starts
Scared, but not scared.
Just one at a time, okay? Looks like it's haciendo yoga. Aquí fue. Aquí fue.
You can hear the gun dust there.
Come on, get down, get down. Get down, get down. Get down, get down. Shit. Be careful, be careful. Okay, kid, you okay?
So those stairs there are super steep. Those are like 45-degree stairs. Not easy to go up and down those. And here's another video of the guy, the gentleman up on top.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
I didn't realize 13 people were injured too. I didn't realize it was technically a mass shooting.
Yeah. So you want to know something crazy, or the real crazy part is, let me share this other screen here. I mean, this is where I was. Let's see there. So there's the sun pyramid right there. This is me from a hot air balloon. So you can see, sorry, the moon pyramid there, right there. But I mean, this is exactly where that took place. I had a fun little selfie there. I like to do the tree pose on all these ancient sites, but that's literally at where the shooting took place. It was at this platform right here. It's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
And then, listen, I don't intend this to be morbid or ironic or anything like that, but I did get the one video that I have from the pyramid, or sorry, from the hot air balloon of the sun temple, or sorry, the moon temple. It happens to be playing a song on the speaker system of the hot. Wasn't intentional, but that's my view there. It's a crazy story. It's a crazy thing that happened. As you can see right here, here's some of my footage from just
okay. So here we are walking
again. This is just a few days, a week and a half, 2 weeks before that happened. Is I was right there. I know you gentlemen haven't been. Cassie, have you ever been down to Teotihuacan yet?
No, I haven't. It's on the list.
Well, I mean, now might be a good time to go. They probably beefed up security heavily after an incident like that. But these kind of things honestly break my heart, because it discourages people from going and seeing these ancient sites, and it's disrespectful of the people that are going there to try to enjoy it. And it's just it's heartbreaking that these types of things occur. Dave, Cody, what do you guys think? What do you got to say about this?
I'll go first. Well, first of all, I didn't realize 13 other people had been injured. What was interesting to me was that he had a face mask on and a bag. And I haven't been there. I've been to Chichen Itza, and there's like a whole, like, when you go in there, they check your stuff, I'm pretty sure, and there's security and whatnot walking around at Chichen Itza. I am surprised that he was able to get all that in there, but hopefully they beefed up security. What do you think, Cody?
Yo, at Teotihuacan, real quick, they did not search me at all going in. I just walked in.
Yeah, they didn't search us when we went to Chichen either.
Okay,
like
maybe I
they
made
threw
that
out my cameras and made me pay for all that, but no, they might have used to. I wouldn't be shocked that they've lightened it over the years, especially like the further we moved from 9/11. But the thing that bothers me the most is stuff like this does discourage tourism out to these sites. Without the tourism dollars, they're not getting reinvested back in. So if people aren't going, money's not getting spent to restore these sites, and not all of restored properly. That's a tangent for a different day, but we don't want to see them as hills with trees. This version of restoration happened, and like my wife, her very first words to me when she heard this story, and you guys were just there, and I was like, yeah, and Aaron was like literally there at this site, and she was like, you go back, and I was like, so I like right there, that's the real world, impact of these types of events that in reality has nothing to do with the site, has nothing to do with archaeology. Somebody would exert their sickness than other people, and it happened to be at Teotihuacan, and the net result is people are going to hear that, and then, well, Mexico's not a safe place. And Aaron, when we were there, we couldn't have had a safer, more enjoyable experience. I was the most dangerous thing on our trip, hands down. So
Yeah, your own hand.
It was
Your own-
an experience I would recommend to anybody. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me, than by far anybody or anything else in Mexico. So, like and then this thing happens, just weeks after we're there. So it can happen anywhere. It can happen anytime, and it shouldn't discourage people visiting these places. Is my take on it.
Highly unlikely. Tragic event, but newsworthy, that's for sure. Newsworthy, that's for sure. Thanks for your take there, Cody. But let's move on to
I want to get Cassie's reaction to that before we
Cassie,
move on.
go ahead. Yeah, got to react.
Yeah, I mean, the only reaction I have is I was kind of mentally going through all of the different ancient sites I've been to around the world, and there's really not security at very many of them at all. But I guess what struck me about the pyramid is the very thing that made that pyramid what it was, which was the ability to stand at the top of it and project your voice, right? And see everybody down below is what made it so deadly. It was difficult to get down. There was nowhere to hide. Once you were at the bottom, there was nowhere to hide. So it made it a particularly dangerous location for a shooting. But I hope it doesn't discourage people from going to these places because they're wonderful and they make people's lives better. So
Absolutely. Thank you for those thoughts there, Cassie. But on to lighter topics here. We are, as mentioned earlier in the show, Cassie is joining us, and Cassie is an upcoming speaker at the Quest for Ancient Civilization. Sorry, not Scottsdale. Let me just share the screen right here so we can just get a little preview about the Quest for Ancient Civilization.
Aaron's mic.
Eric Olson, Billy Carson, Randall Carl, Childress, Gavin, Richard.
your mic's a little off, Aaron.
My mic's off again, huh?
It's back though now. Like as soon as somebody says
now
something,
you
you're back. But I think you said
yeah.
Derek Olson, Billy Carson, Randall Carlson, David Childress, Luke Caverns, Dan Richards, Owana, I don't know how to say their last name, Cassie Coppersmith, and Jason Younger Styles. And this is happening in like a week, right?
Yeah, this is happening this weekend starting Friday night. So if you don't have tickets yet, hit us up. We can get you hooked up with some tickets, get you some discounts, get you some VIP access, because that's what we like to do for all of our dedicated Breaking Ancient News fans. But yeah, happening this Friday. Cassie, this is your first event like this and you're speaking. So give us a little rundown. Can you give us a little preview about what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, this is super exciting. I mean, I'm going to be sharing the stage with some of the people that I have looked up to the most in this space, which is really cool. I can't wait to meet Randall Carlson. I can't wait to see Derek again. So I think it's just going to be a really fun event. My topic is going to be Cambodia, all things Cambodia, and I'm really going to try to spend my 45 minutes making the case that everything we know about ancient Cambodia is wrong, and give a couple reasons why, and talk about some lost ancient technology and some very strange things going on in Cambodia. So I think it's going to be a really fun session, and I hope I get lots of really good questions.
Awesome. We're excited to have you there. Cody and Dave won't be there, but I'll be there. So if any of you guys in the audience want to or recognize me, see me, come say hi. We'll get you hooked up with some swag, and of course, go say hi to Cassie and go watch her presentation because it's going to be fire. I'm sure there's a lot of crazy things happening in Cambodia, a lot of things happening over there. But and on that note, we've actually got well, not Cambodia here, but Thailand. A recent video here of yours, Buried Pyramid of Thailand. Dave, do you want to cue that up for us? We're going to play a little clip and we can talk about it here real quick.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that Cassie, you can't keep up with her because this was her most recent video, but since then she's been to Easter Island and somewhere else, right, Cassie? Where else have you been?
Peru. Yep.
And Peru, yeah. So she never sits still. But I got a 2-minute clip of this pulled up.
Undiscovered because it was buried underneath a huge mound covered in dense vegetation. The mound rose like a hill in the middle of an otherwise flat terrain, so large that the main road in the area was built around it. Only scattered fragments of brick provided clues that something might be hidden underneath. When archaeologists finally excavated the mound less than 20 years ago in 2008, they first exposed the brick structure and then revealed the massive laterite pyramid beneath, which raises the obvious question: why was it buried, and was the pyramid deliberately covered up? We know there is precedence for this elsewhere in the ancient world, Göbekli Tepe being one famous example. It's entirely possible that the laterite pyramid was buried first, forming a mound, and that the brick structure was built on top of that mound much later. But let's return to the official explanation. According to archaeologists, the Dwarawadi culture built Tep and the pyramid between the 6th and 11th centuries. Several Dwarawadi sites are known throughout central Thailand, and they share certain characteristics: large moated settlements, Buddhist art, and artifacts dating between the 6th and 10th centuries. Tep certainly has all of those features. But when you examine the architecture and the artifacts more closely, Tep really starts to stand out as a very different site from these other ones. Most Dwarawadi monuments elsewhere in Thailand are built almost entirely of brick. The monuments at Tep, however, rely heavily on large, finely crafted laterite blocks. But when you compare the sculptures, the difference becomes even more striking. At other Dwarawadi sites, the art is typically modest: clay figures, bronze images, stucco decorations, and unrefined stone sculpture. And most of this sculpture is Buddhist imagery. At Tep, however, many of the sculptures are large Hindu statues carved from stone, displaying refined proportions and exceptional craftsmanship. The UNESCO documentation itself acknowledges this difference. It states that the sculptures at Tep are distinct enough to define an entirely separate artistic tradition known as the Tep School of Art. It also notes that similar sculptures have not been found anywhere else in Thailand.
Well, I'll stop it there, but you're going to be speaking about Cambodia, Cassie, at the Quest for Ancient Civ conference. I know that Cambodia is adjacent to Thailand. What are some of the connections that you made in that most recent video between those cultures? And tell us a little bit more about the video.
I was in Thailand for a nonprofit that I'm on the board of. And so I just spent the week before kind of hustling around some of the different temples in Thailand. And what I expected to find in Thailand were relatively inferior, newer Khmer structures. So Khmer is a really famous one that's there. There's a couple different ones. One's on top of a volcano there. And so we spent our first couple of days, my sister-in-law and I, touring those structures. And so that made the Tep pyramid really, really surprising when we got there, because it's not Khmer at all. It doesn't look like anything in Cambodia. It doesn't look like anything I've seen anywhere else in the world. The whole site is just incredibly unique. So that made it really, really fun to visit. It made it really fun to research. the fact that that pyramid was buried is crazy. I mean, they only found it 20 years ago. Before that, they had no idea it was even there.
That is
the
freaking
things
wild.
that are
really cool.
Yeah, the things that are really interesting, those statues that I was showing, those are super intriguing because they actually look very, very similar. And I showed this in my video to a lot of what I believe are the oldest statues. And really, I would call them out of place artifacts in Cambodia. They stand the same, they look the same, they have the same hats, they have the same sashes. And I don't think that those statues in Cambodia were Khmer statues either. They were found buried deeply at these sites. They don't match any of the architecture there. So that's one of the big mysteries that I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about at the Ancient Civilizations Conference. So yeah, that site totally blew my mind. We spent the whole day there. And
That's
yeah,
be
I
exciting.
don't think he has any idea who built it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. If you want to see more of Cassie
so cool.
and more of the Secrets in Stone, check out her channel, Secrets in Stone, on YouTube. Come to Quest for Ancient Civilizations so you can get. I was going to ask you for more detail. I was going to say, so what are the connections there? But I know you're going to probably, I'm sure, talk about it at the Quest for Ancient Civilizations conference. And there's also a free live stream, so you guys can jump on the live stream as well and get to hear Cassie's speech, talk, presentation. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Presentation there at Quest for Ancient Civilization, because that sounds fascinating. So one question though. So do you think these are like pre-Ice Age or like post-Ice Age? Like
No,
Tepe area or later?
I don't really get antediluvian vibes from it, but I think it's very old. I think it's substantially older than anything else you can find in Thailand, and probably as old as some of the oldest structures in Cambodia.
Interesting.
Stuff just keeps getting older. Get Graham Hancock's shirt.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, on to old things. One of our favorite archaeologists, our favorite ancient researchers, friend of the show, Hugh Thomas, has been up to some interesting things, been publishing some papers. Cody, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Hugh's doing with the ancient Brits?
Is Cody frozen?
Cody might be frozen.
Maybe he should restart his modem.
Gosh dang it, Cody. This is the funniest thing. We're going to put him on blast here a little bit. Right before the show, because he's not here, he can't defend himself. Right before the show, Dave and I say, Cody, your internet sucks. Go reset your router. He says, okay. And he stands up and he has his mic on, and we hear him yell to his wife, hey, honey, how do I reset the router? Like, dude.
You unplug it for 10 seconds and plug it back in, Cody. That's it.
Oh my gosh,
that's all you got to do.
I don't deal with it, man.
There's even a button on top of there you can push too if you don't want to unplug it and plug it back in. It's probably a button. But Hugh Thomas, Cody, what's up?
Look, dude, my dog wall a couple of days ago. Okay, Thomas, he was great. Everybody knows he is somebody out there doing what he should be and practicing what he preaches, getting dirty, and then coming back and educating people. And him, great academic to follow. His latest video is on how British
man. Brutal tonight.
It is
significantly less healthy when the Roman Empire took over. So, Dave, if you want to go ahead and play.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. And just to say what Cody said again, the people in the British Empire got significantly less healthy when the Romans took over. So let's check out Dr. Hugh Thomas.
When they got invaded by a foreign army. Yeah.
And Dr. Hugh Thomas, if you're watching, come on the multiverse, my man. Him and I have been going back and forth. He's a busy fella. All right. I don't harass people, but I'm really looking forward to talking to this dude. So let's go.
And And here's the thing, it wasn't just lead plates and plumbing that caused potential issues for the Romans in antiquity. It was also a thing that they loved a lot, wine. Now, normally wine poisons you over the course of an evening, resulting in a 24-hour recovery period where you utilize Doritos, full sugar Coke, and reruns of The Office to feel better. But in the Roman world, it poisoned you in a different way. So wine wasn't particularly great back then, so they used to sweeten wine with a thing called supper, a syrup used to sweeten wine, which was made by boiling down grape juice into a syrup which was, well, you guessed it, made with vessels either made of or containing lead. And the Romans promoted this too. There was an ancient author called Columella who wrote that lead was better than brass because, in boiling, brazen vessels throw off copper rust and spoil the flavor. So the thing is that when you boil down grapes that are acidic in a lead vessel, it has a chemical reaction creating a thing called the sugar of lead, a slightly sweet tasting thing that is also super dangerous. You're not going to find this on an episode of The Great British Bake Off, but instead it's more of like a forbidden sugar. Now, wine was imported into the British world before the Romans took over, but here's the thing, it was sort of limited to very rich and wealthy people who had the money to import it. So once the Romans actually took over Britain, it became much more popular. And we can see that through the archaeological evidence. A group of 25 amphora were found near London at Brockley Hill, which could date to just a few decades after the Romans took over. Now, amphoras were used to transport wine, and these ones could hold somewhere in the region of about 20 to 25 litres. So 25 pots by about 20 litres of wine each is about 500 litres of wine, and that's maybe just one cartload of it. Now, these weren't imported amphora, these were local, made out of local clay. And this was a common thing for vineyards back then, is that if you had wine, you would just get local potters to make you amphora, and you would store and transport your wine in that. So it suggests that the Romano-Britons were making a lot of wine pretty soon after the Romans took over. So it could very well be that this wine that was infused with a little bit of lead, plus the lead pipes and lead plates and all of that stuff, really caused dramatic health decreases for the local British population. The study demonstrated that a lot of the rural Britons under Roman rule generally had pretty similar health issues to pre-Roman Britons, suggesting that the impact on smaller towns and rural areas was less extreme. Maybe they had less pollution and overcrowding and lead products, or maybe instead of wine, they were just big fans of a nice cold lager. So there you have it, a really cool paper showing how the arrival of the Roman Empire.
I'll stop sharing that. Is Cody good? He doesn't look good.
He just dipped out. That's fascinating. So they're just the acidity of the grapes in there are just poisoning all the people. You know, I'm just so grateful that we live in modern times. We have access to a lot of modern medicine. I'm like very like anti-modern medicine in like a lot of like I don't do a lot of medication and vaccines and kind of a lot of stuff like that. I try not to even take like Tylenol. I try to stay as natural as possible. But like the modern understanding of medicine of like pollutants and bacteria and microorganisms and lead poisoning and antibiotics, like those things are all just like, we're so blessed that we have that understanding now that we live in that time. We don't have to live back then where people were pooping in the street.
Yeah, my reaction to that is I'm betting, and I think Rubate said it in the chat somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. No, I don't see it. But after a military takeover of a culture, I'm betting that happens pretty much all the time for a lot of different reasons. That was a fascinating article, though. I try not to, take too many leaps with the limited amount of evidence they were using, but it is interesting, and I for sure think that every time one culture conquers another, there's probably a little bit of transfer of bacteria and microbes and different things. And so yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Cassie?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't have any specific thoughts about this video, but I do really appreciate people who do videos on something no one else does videos on. It's nice to see no AI doing things like that, and nice to see a topic that you haven't seen 400 other times. So yeah, kudos to him for putting unique content out there.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys noticed in the background, Hugh Thomas had a big picture of his archaeological excavation site over there in Saudi Arabia with those triangular structures there. That was pretty cool. He had a big head down as well. So shout out to Hugh, friend of the show. Come on this show and Dave's show sometime because we love you and we want to talk to you and get your perspective, which we think is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I've got another video we're going to show later to Cassie's point that, like, we see the same stuff over and over and over again on every different channel. And so when people are putting out stuff like actual archaeological evidence that or interesting discoveries or interesting travels and expeditions that they do, I'm always a big fan of that. So
absolutely. Moving on to the next topic here, I want to talk to Dave. Dave got a little surprise in the mail. Dave, why don't you show off your new swag?
Yeah, first I'll say, friend of the show, been on the multiverse twice. Love this guy, Dr. Gregory L. Little's The Illustrated Encyclopedia of Native American Indian Mounds and Earthworks. Third edition is here. I'm about to unbox it in front of you. This stunning new 700-page oversized hardcover is the most comprehensive guide ever published to the continent's astounding mound sites and earthworks. It features 1,200 detailed entries from 49 states, more than 1,700 photos, maps, and illustrations, plus 111 breathtaking site reconstructions. It reveals the advanced engineering, astronomy, spirituality, and community organization of the archaic Adena, Hopewell, and Mississippian cultures. It's revised and updated and expanded. This essential volume shines a light on one of the world's most underappreciated archaeological treasures. I've got it right here. I haven't even pulled it out yet. I did open the box, guys, because like I suck at like Christmas presents. I was the type who'd always sneak into my mom's closet and open the Christmas presents early. I always give Christmas presents too early. But here we go. This is it. This is the first one. Well, not the first one. This is the one I ordered. And it's gorgeous. It's huge. It's heavy. And when Greg was on my show a few months ago, he really, actually less than about a month ago, he really blew my mind. Like, because I'm from Iowa. I was born in Iowa. And he asked me to guess how many mound sites were in Iowa. And I was like, I don't know, 200. He's like, how about 20,000? And I'm like, what? I had no idea. So I have not dug into this at all, but I'm just literally opening up to one page here. A bunch of awesome pictures. Like it said, 1,100 pictures. It said we got reconstructions. And that's the thing, is they've had to do all these reconstructions of these sites because, for example, St. Louis is built on top of a metropolis. Okay, so they've got to use LiDAR scans and other field work to determine where these sites were and reconstruct them. So I'm super pumped about this. I wish Cody's internet wasn't crapping out because I know he's a big Greg Little fan. But guys, this, for a signed copy, this cost me $99. You can get, I think it's 60 something bucks. I think off Amazon for a non-signed copy. Totally worth it, in my opinion. Totally worth it. Cassie, are you familiar with Greg Little's work at all?
Yeah, I am. I'm a fan of his.
Yeah. And did you know that this came out recently?
No, I didn't. I was going to ask you how much it cost. It looks like it costs more than $99.
It should cost more than $99. For a signed copy shipped by the man himself. Let's see if I can find the signature here. Yeah, there we go.
So Dave, what do you think is the real story behind the mounds?
Well, there's the, can you guys see that real quick?
Yeah, nice.
I'm trying to speculate too much, but here's what I do think. I do think that we got a narrative fed to us about the Native American culture, especially if you were, went to school in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that just flat out wasn't true. This culture was extremely coordinated, extremely sophisticated, and it takes a little bit away from the whole "Go America," look at how awesome we made this continent idea, manifest destiny, whatever you want to call it. And I think what we're dealing with is, I don't want to say a cover up, but more like an erasure of what these people actually were doing before we got here, for likely thousands of years longer than we thought they were, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Aaron?
Oh shoot, Dave, we got into it a little bit on the last time I was on your show, but the more I'm researching this, the more I'm thinking that the Mormons kind of had it right. You know, in the Book of Mormon, they talk about cities with earthen walls and structures and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, well, hey, you have this record, disputed on its origin or not, that's talking about earthenwork cities that can house, you know, tens of thousands of people here on the American continent. And then you have the earthenwork cities that weren't discovered until after the book was written. So it's like, ooh, it's a little dicey. So I don't, you know, I'm going to withhold judgment on that, all that nonsense and all that silliness and all that fantasticness until I finish my research and my video. But that's forthcoming. The
Oh, you're doing a video on it, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing a video
cool.
On the Mormons, right?
Yeah, that's the megalithic Mormons, because
Cool.
their story is crazy. Their story, and it just too much of it lines up with too much of ancient history that we know about, like the Mound Builder Society, like Viracocha and Quetzalcoatl, all these fantastic things. So it'll be a fun video when it comes out.
Wanted to shout out the man himself, Dr. Greg Little, Moral Recognition Therapy 9366. He's in the chat. He says the St. Louis Reconstruction is on page 373. Here it is. And yo, Dr. Greg Little, love you, man. Thank you so much
Great
for
to have
signing my
you.
copy of the book. I'm really looking forward to digging through it and also exploring some of the places where I live here in Georgia and surrounding areas. I know there's a bunch of mounds here that are in this book. Also wanted to shout out my former co-host and good buddy, Mike. He says he's also glad to see that the hardcover, aka Not Boneless. Yeah, we need a hardcover for this kind of thing. You know what I mean? So shout out, Mike. Thank you so much for watching. Love you, buddy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, check out Dr. Greg's Little's book, follow him on X, buy his stuff, support him, support people that are doing actual work and actual research, because that's what he's doing. So thanks for showing us that, Dave. Now, on to the next topic here. You know, I was debating on pulling this up, so I'm just going to shift focus here a little bit because, you know, it's been a while. I should it's been about 3 weeks since we had a megalithic mystery post on his channel, but he's back at it, and I wanted to show you guys a little bit about what I've been up to. I should say, stop referring to myself in the third person. I've been back at it, posting some of this stuff here. So I want to show you guys a little place I went to in Mexico called Zibichaltun, which is a Maya site. Now, this site was really, really cool because it is near the coast and is one of the first places that the Spanish invaded. And so when they came and they launched their official invasion, they went to this site, Zibichaltun, which is a big Maya city, and they constructed a cathedral right in the middle of it, like literally smack dab in the middle of it. They built this cathedral and started worshiping there. And that was their whole thing with this psychological warfare of like their takeover of these people. It says, no, Jesus Christ and God is more powerful and than all of your gods. And we are going to build our places of worship directly where you guys would have worship, to show that Jesus Christ is king, as they would say, or as they do say. So let me show you some of this stuff right here. Oh, we're muted. Can you guys hear that?
No.
A fantastic example of one of the most brutal aspects of warfare and conquest: psychological warfare and intimidation. For right in the center of this Mayan complex, the Spanish, upon their arrival and invasion, constructed a gigantic cathedral and apse, solidifying their rule and their vision that their Christian God overruled that of the Mayan people.
Okay, this was done by the Spanish. All right, let's take a look at this. Yeah. Whoa, that is cool looking. The big colonial Spanish archway. Oh yeah, this is obviously reminiscent of Christianity. Lots of Christian vibes here. The altar there, the display for the Christus.
That is cool looking. So this is when the Spanish first invaded and they started conquering the Maya. Looks like it had a roof at one point, and that's pretty neat. Oh yeah, you had the crucifix in there.
So check out the full video on my YouTube channel, Megalithic Mystery. It just dropped yesterday. It's a really cool place. Very neat to go explore some of these lesser known sites. And even if there's, I call my channel the Megalithic Mystery. But even though I'm searching for megaliths, I don't always find them. So I love just going and exploring ancient historical sites as well. So Zibi Cheltun is one of those ancient sites. The Maya built it right next to a cenote, which was sacred for them. It was the entrance to Xibalba, which is the Maya underworld. So very cool stuff. I know Dave's got some exploration done in the Yucatan. You haven't made it down there yet at all, Cassie?
Yeah, I've been to some of the places in Mexico, like the obvious ones, Chichen Itza and things like that, and then spent a little bit of time in Guatemala. But yeah, no, I haven't explored it nearly as much as I want to.
Yeah, it's a fascinating place in the Maya, and it's kind of interesting because Cody and I found these unexcavated, unrestored, undiscovered, undocumented ruins, and the state that they're in is just so vastly different than all the other archaeological sites in Mexico. They do a lot of restoration work, as I'm sure you saw, like the that site in Thailand when it was before it was excavated, just looks like a hill of dirt.
Yeah,
with a few scattered bricks around. And that's like all the stuff down in Mexico looks like as well. If it's not actively restored. Thanks, Rubate. Rubate said
it is always interesting to me, Aaron, when megalith, like true megalithic, really old structures are uncovered. They seem to be pretty well preserved. It's like they have the ability to preserve themselves, whereas some of the later structures, are just destroyed, like the brick structures in Cambodia. So it's interesting the way they can sort of stand the test of time, even if they're covered with dirt for a really long time.
Yeah, it makes you think that like what of the things that we build would, if everybody in our society vanished and everything got covered with dirt, what that we built would last 10,000 years? And I think basically nothing.
Yeti coolers.
Concrete would dissolve. Steel would rust away. Iron would rust away. Yeah, most of the buildings that we construct, especially here in the United States, are either wood or concrete or, sometimes cement and brick. But even like those types of things, they're not made with like real rock. It's, it's a conglomerate. So I don't think much of anything that we built would last. Maybe like you go to the Met, that's like made of with like marble, right? They have imported marble. You go to the Met and you'll find it there. That'll last a long time.
The Hoover Dam, that's about it.
I was thinking about that, but that's concrete, and eventually it's just gonna erode away. Eventually, I think 10,000 years is a long time.
Then Yeti coolers it is.
Yeah, Yeti coolers, Nalgene bottles. You guys remember Nalgene bottles? Those were the big thing back in the day.
I do.
Oh, fun stuff. We're missing Cody here. All right, because
just FYI, Cody's tapped out. He's not come back, but I can cover his last topic if we want.
All right, yeah. Well, let's go to yours because you had some interesting things about Liam Richards' Buddhist caves connected to Rome. What's that about there, Dave? Enlighten us.
Yeah, so just want to say this channel, just Liam Richards on YouTube, is one of my fave channels because he's always exploring. He does what you do, Aaron, shows like on-site exploration. In this video, Liam documents a challenging trek through the Maharashtra jungle in India to reach ancient Buddhist caves. He explores the historical significance of these sites, specifically their connection to the Satavahana. Sorry if I killed that guy's empire, approximately 2,000 years ago. So we'll check out about 1.5 minutes of this video really quick. But these are caves that apparently were connected to the ancient Romans. And yeah, let's see what he has to say about it. Liam Richards, though, on YouTube. Check him out.
This is amazing. So this dates back to the Satavahana Empire, I believe. Over 2,000 years ago, one of the first major empires in the Deccan region. And now, how did they have a connection to Rome? Well, on the west coast of India, an old trading port, Roman ships would come. They'd bring goods, Roman gold, and they would exchange it for Indian ivory, silks, all that kind of good stuff. How do we know this? Well, I suspect you even get up it. You know Pompeii? Wow, this is crazy. Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius. They found an ivory Lakshmi that dates back 2,000 plus years ago, of course, when Mount Vesuvius erupted. And that's directly linked with this empire, Satavahana Empire, or Satavahana Empire, and the trading relationship with Rome. And they've also found tons of gold, heaps and heaps of Roman coins, Roman gold. Wow, dude. Wow, lad. That's unbelievable.
Jeez, that's incredible.
Yep.
Far out.
Wow.
We came all the way from down there. Good riddance, lad. Oh, that is scary. That's a big cave-in. I'm on like high alert. I'm like a little bit spooked out. It's just a bit sketchy. I don't know why. So some of the first ever Buddhist caves carved out of stone, and you can see like they're making it look like it's still timber. Ah, up there, there's Lakshmi getting washed by elephants. You see this kind of pattern. This is all how they would do it out of timber. There's the snake head. Look at that. Wow, is that the snake that... I think that's the snake that shielded Buddha from the storm. That is unbelievable, dude.
So I'll stop sharing there. But, you know, first of all, I want to say, Liam, that you guys missed like probably the first 15 minutes of that video. He treks through the jungle to get there, which I think props to anyone who does stuff like that to show us sites like that, because I'd never seen that before. And I have because of Praveen Mohan, and because it literally probably it's top 5 favorite YouTube channels for me. It really got me into India and all the stuff going on there. I just believe that there's connections to India and this idea of a lost ancient civilization that people aren't making, that we probably should be making. In this particular video, he's connecting the Roman Empire as sort of this was a stopping point that they were using at these ancient caves as they moved through the country. But I thought it was super fascinating. I know, Cassie, have you spent time in India, and what did you think? What did you think about that site?
I haven't been to that site. I've spent a lot of time in India, but not for ancient history investigations. I'm doing my first trip to India for that purpose in June. So I'll be going and visiting Hampi and some of the other crazy places there. So I'll report back on India.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It is very cool. I'd love to go there to India. I'll make it there someday. Get to view those sites. Kailasa Temple, however you pronounce it. That's going to be so much fun.
Well, that temple itself, Aaron, is to me it's a top 3 enigmatic sites in the world. Kailasa Temple in India.
Yeah,
I think it's top 3. There's no rational explanation for that site. It literally it was carved from above, and it's absolutely stunning with ridiculous detail, As far as I understand, they don't even know where all the stone went. Where did the stone go? There's no site that they moved it to, as far as I understand.
Yeah, it's very mysterious. All of that. That's incredible. That's really incredible.
Just wanted to respond to Graham Pong. What are your thoughts on the deaths of Nick Pope and David Wilcock? Go ahead and rewind to the beginning because we did cover that at the
That was our
beginning.
first topic.
Yep.
At least David Wilcox. I don't know who Nick Pope is.
Yeah, another similar situation. But yeah, but I also, it's not a similar situation. He didn't die by suicide. He died due to health conditions. And I do not think it's connected to the 11 missing scientists related to UAP and UFO disclosure. However, tomorrow night, I'm doing a live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern with Jason Shaman from the Institute for Natural Philosophy, my friend Ashish Rastogi, and we're going to go deep into that topic. It's just not related to breaking ancient news. So tune in tomorrow to the multiverse.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I think we're just about wrapping up here because Cody's not here to share with us some of his stuff. Should we do the new Discover on Easter Island forum, though?
Yeah, let me show that quick.
Let's pull that one up. Let's see what he had queued up here.
So, new discovery at Easter Island could rewrite history as we know it. For decades, archaeologists have debated whether the writing system at Rapa Nui, known as Rongo Rongo, was invented independently or influenced by Europeans. A study that uses radiocarbon dating to assess the age of 4 Rongo Rongo tablets shows that one of the tablets predates the arrival of Europeans in the 1720s. However, the date only reflects when the wood was felled, and sample size of one isn't large enough to be entirely certain. This suggests that Rapa Nui people independently invented their unique, still undeciphered pictorial script, one of the rarest independent creations of writing in history, according to lead researcher Silvia Ferrara of the University of Bologna. You were just there, Cassie. Did you see any of these? Did you see this at all?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that specific article, but yeah, I just got back from Easter Island, and the Rongo Rongo tablets are really fascinating. I was on Mike's Wandering Wolf Live podcast last week maybe, and we were talking about one of the stories I heard on the ground there from my guide, who, you know, his family dates all the way back on the island, and he was saying there was a tsunami in the 60s in Easter Island, and it knocked all of the moai down off of the ahu, and his uncle in the 60s was there wandering the beach, just looking to see what you could pick up there on the beach, and he found not just Rongo Rongo tablets, but elongated skulls on that beach.
Wow.
After the ahu was just exploded by the tsunami. So yeah, I think the Rongo Rongo tablets are extremely old, or at least the script itself is, and the dating of them is a little interesting. You know, you can date wood, but that doesn't tell when it was carved specifically. But yeah, one of my big hopes, there's a lot of things about AI that I don't like, but one of my big hopes for AI is that it can find a way to help decipher that script. I think that would be a really cool outcome.
That would be really cool. I just recently read some other story that they had used AI to decipher some other ancient manuscript, but it wasn't the Rongo Rongo one. So that's definitely a possibility. That's really cool. Do you think there's any connection? So a lot of people say that the Rapa Nui wall there, which is similar in its megalithic style construction to that of Peru, was potentially built by the Inca people that sent an expedition east. What are your thoughts on Easter Island Peruvian people Inca connection?
Look, the megalithic walls in Easter Island look a lot like the walls in Peru. There's
you visited Siustani, right? Up in the Altiplano?
Say that again?
Siustani with the large cylinders up on the way to Pumapunku.
Sorry, what's your question?
Did you visit that site, Siustani?
Oh, no. We were just up in northern Peru, in Cusco. Okay. But yeah, that megalithic wall, the Ahu is actually not the only one on the island. If you hike up the west coast, there's a bunch of other megalithic walls, and they have very similar characteristics to the walls in Peru. I actually did a post earlier this week on how similar they are. So yeah, I think that they were related or connected. I'm not sure how, but they look eerily similar to me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I think personally that they are remnants of a antediluvian civilization. You know, as we talked about, you know, with our civilization, what would survive after 10,000 years? And I think only big, large stones that can't be moved, can't be shaken away, and can't be eroded down to dust by wind or water. I think that's all that's going to be left.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, listen, Cassie, it was wonderful.
I got a couple more things I want to do. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. My bad.
You cut me off. What do you got for us, Dave?
I got real quick. Filippo Biondi is going hard right now. Doubling down today on the second Sphinx. Folks, we have done it using a full series of high-resolution radar tomographies. We have located the second Sphinx with millimeter precision. We know exactly where to dig. Attaches a satellite image showing the exact position and orientation, perfectly symmetrical to the first Sphinx in the period of Cheops, tremendous symmetry. We are now running advanced facial recognition algorithms on the scans to identify which pharaoh this majestic head belongs to. Man, they're going all in on this. Or if it's an entirely new, never before seen face. How can they do that underground? On the existence of the second Sphinx, we are raising the probability to 105%. The full revelation will, with all the stunning images and data, will drop on June 21st. I'm just going to do a quick reshare of Matt Bell here. I don't believe you.
Listen, I'm not even 100% sure that I'm like alive and conscious, and that we're not even in a simulation.
Right.
I don't know how you can be 100% sure about that. 105.
I like to always refer back to my I want to believe poster, and I have that there ironically because I know this about myself. I want there to be a second Sphinx down there, you guys. Okay, that'd be dope. All right, but come on, I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean. I met Filippo at Cosmic Summit. Seems like a nice guy. Parties hard. But Cassie, second Sphinx. What are we talking about here?
I don't know. It's confusing to me that he goes on Matt Bell, then he comes out with a post saying, I'm no longer going on any other podcasts. I am just going to do my work and I'll see you guys in June. And then since then, he keeps releasing things like this. I honestly, when I saw that post today, it occurred to me that his account may have been hacked. But I don't know. I don't know why you come out and say I'm 105% certain without showing any proof. That seems strange to me.
It seems strange to me too. I don't know. June 21st. What is it? It's April 26th.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're just going to keep, giving a little. We're just going to keep doing this for 3 months or whatever it is. I mean,
he's got to sell tickets to the conference. They're revealing it at that conference there.
Is the conference in Italy? Where's the conference?
In Bologna.
Oh my
Bunch
gosh.
of baloney at that conference in Bologna.
I hope it's real.
We all hope. I want
to. Yeah, we all do. We all do. I just don't know. There's not much else to say about that. We need to see what he presents on the 21st and then go from there. Jimmy Corsetti posted, which he keeps continuously saying, just dig a damn hole. I think that's an oversimplification, but yeah, just dig a hole and show us, I did want to quickly promo my most recent episode of Dave's Multiverse with Dr. Heather Lynn talking about the Anunnaki. Shout out to my editor, Alexander Cheshkovich, for doing this. But he does all my intros and things like that. So let's just check that out quick. And the episode's performing really well. People seem to like it. And Dr. Heather Lynn is a really well-educated, really interesting person. Get a little of her backstory here, but let's check this out.
In the middle of talking about Baphomet, and I was pushing the boundaries of what maybe is supposed to be said and what's not. I was divulging some occult secrets and different methods of sigil magic, and all of a sudden, I heard a big crash, and so did the host, and kind of looked at each other. But then all of a sudden, my internet went out, and I look over, what happened? I don't know what happened. I have a painting on the wall of Pazuzu, the demon from The Exorcist, a demon that I wrote about in Evil Archaeology. It just came crashing down. It took the internet out with it, and it was just lying there on the ground. And I thought, well, geez, maybe I shouldn't have been divulging all of those secrets. This is a phenomenon that we've been dealing with on this planet for a long time, and there's different names for it from different cultures and different people. And so something like, and I know this is, people get like upset these days, or they like it. There's either one or the other, where you say aliens are demons or demons are aliens. But I don't think that that's unfair. I think that when you question the idea of demonizing them, well, that's one thing, but just the point that we have different words for similar phenomena. We have different words over time for, like, we may call them aliens, we may call them demons, we could call them jinn, we could say they're elves, and nowadays we can call them, say, machine elves, or the clockwork elves, or the DMT, elves, or it's always elfin, but we're seeing something, and I think we just don't know what this phenomena is, and so the name changes.
So check that out on Dave's Multiverse. We're really gaining a lot of momentum right now, and I'm really happy with my show. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe down below. Also subscribe to Cassie's Secrets in Stone on YouTube, and Aaron from Megalithic Mysteries, and Cody from East End Outpost, even though his internet took a shit today. But yeah, I think that's our show for today.
Yeah, Cassie, thanks so much for joining us. We are super happy to have you. Looking forward to meeting you in person here in just a few days down there in Sedona, Arizona. You guys, if you want to meet Cassie, you want to meet myself, come join us in Arizona, and it's going to be popping off in the desert near the Red Rocks. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks again for Cassie for joining us. Where else can we find you? What else are you up to? What's on the docket for you these days?
I'm on all the usual platforms, YouTube and things like that. But yeah, so I've got the conference coming up, so I've been prepping for that. My next video is actually going to be a video on Teotihuacan, the site of Teotihuacan, which is a megalithic site in Peru.
I love that.
That's pretty cool because I got to interview Brian Forrester at that site, and
Sweet.
so I'm going to share his thoughts along with mine on that site. And then right before Memorial Day, I'll be talking about Easter Island and some of the cool things I discovered there. So yeah,
wonderful.
In May, I'll get a few more videos out than I did recently.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Watch your channel. It's great content as well. And looking forward to seeing you more on the conference circuit, giving these awesome presentations.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for joining us on short notice. I really appreciate it. Always appreciate when we connect. I wanted to shout out to the chat, Hamburglar, that's Mike, my boy, Graham Pong, Rubate, Camus, Jenny,
Claire
Tammy,
with blue hair.
Claire with blue hair, always here. And Claire with blue hair, she's someone I'd like to talk to someday because she's been literally everywhere, going somewhere with everyone. Here's my oldest friend. I've known this dude since I was 8 years old, Grambino, hailing from Halifax, Nova Scotia, where I grew up. So shout out Grambino. Light and love and truth to everyone watching. And let's sign off.
Have a good one, guys. Good to